If you are like me and love big, juicy gemstones, you are not going to want to miss the pieces and the deals I have coming up for you next. Hello and welcome to the Lux Jewelry Edit. I'm Elizabeth Maneri, and if you have been tuning in to me and my shows for any length of time, I don't think I have to tell you, I am so excited for this episode. Big, juicy gemstones. My favorite 3 words to put together in the entire world. I have the most gorgeous colors. They are big sizes. The sparkle is out of this world. And as you have come to expect from me and Gems Plus, the detail, craftsmanship, and price are gonna blow your mind. So let's get ready and let's get to our first piece. Starting today for all of my February birthday, I have got an amethyst for you. Now, I've talked before about, we talk about birthstones a lot, right? And I love birthstones, I love using them as such, but don't forget that it isn't just for being born in that month. If you got married in the month of February, maybe it's a special anniversary of a date of a major life accomplishment, or maybe meeting your significant other, or maybe you had a child and it's your child's birthstone. But don't forget to think outside the box when it comes to birthstones. I use birthstones all the time to celebrate things like that. I have birthstones for the month I got married, for my daughter's birthday. I wear my husband's birthstone because I just think that's a fun romantic thing to do. But whatever the thing that is special to you in February, or if you are just someone who loves the gorgeous, unmistakable, always immediately identified color of an amethyst, this is the ring for you. Now, what better way to kick off a show entitled Big Juicy Gemstones than with an over 30 carat oval amethyst? Over 30 carat. I want you to think about that for a second. That is a crazy number, but I also want you to do me a favor. I want you to not assume that you know what that's going to lead to in terms of price, because I promise you, it is not going to line up the way you think it would. But this 30 carat oval amethyst is set in 14 karat yellow gold. This ring, I have it in a size 6.5. And I want to point out, there's so many details about this ring that are absolutely exquisite. But first, let's just take a look at it on my finger. Look at how clear. You can see almost all the way through. Look at that stunning, stunning shade of purple. Now, the other thing that I immediately noticed about this ring is I love the way that they have used the prongs as an additional detail that makes the piece unique and beautiful. Now, of course, we all know that when it comes to prongs, it's a necessary functional part of a ring that holds, or really any piece of jewelry, I should say. In this case, it's a ring that holds and secures the stone. Because of the size of the stone, and many of the stones you're going to see in today's show, it is obviously going to require a sturdier, more solid, larger prong to make sure that it stays in. However, a lot of jewelry designers will also take those prongs and add them as a design feature, and that is exactly what we're seeing here. By having the prongs go up and over the stone a little bit, that ends up being a big design feature, and I think it's so pretty. It gives it a bit of a minimalistic, it gives it a very sleek, modern take that I think is so beautiful. Now, another thing they've done that I think is so pretty here, and I'm going to go ahead and I want you to see the side. Now, oftentimes when we think of a halo, in this case it's an all-metal halo, we think of it coming up around the top of the stone, so going around the circumference of the top of the stone, either level with it. Sometimes you see it right at the part where, the below where the stone starts to dome upward. Sometimes you see it over and above that and more like a bezel set. Here we've set it almost halfway, a quarter of the way down the stone. Now, again, what is the reason for that? It's really just a design feature that once again brings about that sort of modern, sleek, minimalistic look. This is not an intricate basket. This is a basket that's been designed to look sleek, designed to look elegant, but definitely have a more simplistic, modern vibe. However, you will notice, and I'm going to turn it this way, that it is a large basket. And I also want you to notice here the way it's almost weighted. I don't know if that's quite the right word because it is very light and very delicate. The reason for that, When we think about rings that have a very large center stone, as this one, or even as the ones that you'll often see me wearing, because I love them, one of the problems that we run into is that they tend to roll. So we flip our hand and they're gonna flip, or sometimes not even flipping our hand, they just move because they're heavy. By enlarging the basket, it really grounds the stone. So it makes it less likely to roll or always end up over here. I don't know about you, this drives me batty when a ring spends the whole time, flipped over on its side like that. So one thoughtful detail and a design feature that many top quality jewelry designers and manufacturers will do is they'll create a larger kind of counterbalancing basket to hold the stone. And in this particular ring, it's really neat because they've done that, but they've done it in a way that doesn't compromise the sleek, minimalistic, modern look that is obviously what they desired for this ring. Now, I also want to point out, very interesting. So you have become familiar at this point shopping with me here on the Lux Jewelry Edit. You get one-of-a-kind pricing. You get exclusive deals that you will not get anywhere else. Not at a retailer, certainly not anywhere else. But every once in a while, I can do even better than that, and we are able to procure an estate piece. That means it is a piece that has been previously owned by a jewelry store or in a jewelry collection, and because of the time when it was made and the cost of the materials at that time, the price of this piece of jewelry is less than we could ever offer it, even with our pricing here at Gems Today. Isn't that incredible? So guess who gets to benefit from that? You. So today you can own a 30-carat oval amethyst set in 14 yellow gold with all of these beautiful, minimalistic, sleek, modern design features that I've been showing you for $1,600. $1,600. I have spent more on costume like cubic zirconia jewelry than I have spent to get a 30-carat amethyst for that price. The only reason we are able to do it is, again, we offer the best pricing. Gems is able to offer one-of-a-kind pricing, but in this case, we have been able to procure an estate piece that we would never be able to manufacture and produce this ring for that same price. So jump on it, take advantage. You cannot afford to not own this ring for $1,600, a 30-carat oval amethyst set in 14-carat yellow gold. So I wanted to show you this next piece right up next to the piece I just showed you, this amethyst, because one of the things that I think is so incredible about jewelry, gemstones, uniquely crafted jewelry, one-of-a-kind pieces, is that they are as different as each of the people that are going to fall in love with and purchase them. So look at these two rings, for instance. You really could not be more different in every detail. So, I mean, obviously the stone, even just the nature of the color of the stone, right? We've got this kind of very earthy, almost citrine ring. We've got an amethyst, which is your more classic traditional. We've got platinum and gold versus the gold. We've got, when you take into account the setting, I mean, it does not get more intricate or antique-y looking. And I'm going to give you all the details on this ring in just a moment. But I just think it is such a beautiful illustration of the uniqueness of jewelry, the uniqueness of each person that's going to fall in love with and wear each piece of jewelry in these two. I thought that was so incredible. And how would you argue that one is more beautiful or better than the other? You absolutely could not. They are both so beautiful in their own right. So now let's take a moment and really soak up the beauty of this next piece. As I was saying when I compared it with the amethyst, this is the epitome of antique, vintage. I mean, this looks like an heirloom ring. If you do not have a family heirloom, say you are not fortunate enough to have pieces passed down to you, this would be the perfect piece to start a family tradition, to start a family heirloom. The look, the stone, this is an over 11 and 3/4 carat, in fact, oval citrine, and we have over 3/4 carat weight of round diamonds in the setting. Now, the diamonds in this setting, again, set pavé style, but these are not pavé in the sense that these are significantly sized surfaced diamonds that have all been set in a prong style setting, and they are going around halo style, the citrine. Now, I love, love, love the way with this ring, they have combined both a bezel and a halo setting. So they have raised the citrine up. We've set this, kind of nestled it inside a halo of gold, and then dropped just below that, and we've done your more classic traditional halo in diamond. Another incredible detail that I love and is so thoughtfully well done, you'll see here that we've got the gold going around the citrine. You'll also see that you've got the gold coming down. It's essentially what you would say the setting is comprised of, is the 18 karat gold. But where the diamonds are set in is platinum. So what is that doing? Why would we do a two-tone metal in a ring like this? A couple of things. The yellow gold is absolutely bringing out the warmth, the richness, that deep amber tone of the citrine. So when you think about the range of colors that you're going to get in a citrine, it's going to bring out that deep, warm, honey, almost amber color of the citrine. And so they've carried that, of course, into the setting. Anytime we put two metals up against one another, each metal only shines more brilliantly. So by placing platinum next to the gold, is that not beautiful? Does that not become a feature in and of itself? The other thing that's going to do is where we have the diamonds, while they are significant in size, the diamonds themselves, by setting them in platinum, it's going to almost play a trick on your eyes, and it is going to give the illusion of more diamond surface space than if it was set in the yellow gold, because you essentially can't tell where the diamond ends and where the platinum begins. And you'll also notice it's just a beautiful, kind of an organic line that they have going around this halo. So that is lending to that beautiful antique style. They've also carried the design detail right down to the side, and they have carried the platinum as well. So again, there is not a ton of diamond going down the side. There is some in each piece, but look at how beautiful when you partner it with the platinum. So you're able to get really heavy diamond. The majority of your diamond carat weight, over 3/4 carat, is right up here on the surface and down the sides, but we are still able to get that look on the basket by setting it in platinum. I also, again, want to show you going down the shank. You've got some really beautiful mill grain work going down on each side. And then again, you've got the larger diamonds that are set in platinum. Take a moment and just appreciate the color. Now, I curated today's show because I love big, juicy gemstones. I love the color, I love the size, I love the sparkle. I mean, it is arguably my favorite thing in the world to purchase and to wear. But we were really able to find pieces that the deal is so good, you cannot afford to miss it. Now is a really good time to remind you, whatever you are watching on, because you know, I'm coming to any screen, any device of your choosing, anytime, anywhere. I can be propped up next to your computer at work, wherever you are watching me. Make sure you have familiarized yourself with the shopping interface. So whether you're seeing a QR code, whether you might be seeing a link, if you're watching on YouTube, there's probably a description right below that you're looking at. There's going to be a link in there, but you're going to want to familiarize yourself with how to shop quickly on this show, because not only is every piece that I'm about to show you the only one like it in the world, it is priced at 60, 70, and 80% off of retail. We have cut out all of the middle costs. We have gone straight to the manufacturers and designers, and we are giving all the savings to you just as a way of saying thank you for hanging out with me and watching this show. So this ring, at over 11 3/4 carat citrine and over 3/4 carat weight of diamond, can be yours today for $2,200. $2,200. Start dialing now. If you haven't even decided that this is the ring that you want and need, just start dialing, because by the time you think of it and by the time you decide it, it might already be gone. So if this is a ring that you haven't even remotest interest in, go ahead, start dialing, start scanning, start clicking, whatever it is, but get on it now, because $2,200 for this ring is incredible. This next ring is a beautiful sky blue topaz. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with the blue topaz, but Topaz in and of itself has a variety of shades and hues that it comes in. Blue topaz specifically has a really wide range of color that you'll see. Different types of intensity, different depth and richness of color, and different shades, to be honest with you. So this is what we call the sky blue. You'll sometimes hear it referred to as a Parisian blue, but it's a very soft sky powder blue. The color of blue topaz will range all the way up to a deep navy, almost a midnight blue. I would say really common kind of in between the two is what you're going to call your London blue topaz. That's kind of that traditional royal blue. But today I am bringing you a sky blue topaz. Now sky blue topaz is really, really well regarded because it gives a lot of the same vibe as aquamarine, but it can often be secured at a lower price point, but it has very, very similar vibes. It has an icy, almost diamond-like appearance. So you could almost kind of see it lending itself to a similar characteristic. You could see people wearing it as almost a dupe, if you will, for a blue colored diamond, but it is often compared to the aquamarine, and for good reason, because it's absolutely beautiful. In this case, I was able to get you a highly coveted cushion cut. Now, I have not had a lot of cushion cuts recently, and it is a highly sought after, highly regarded cut. And one of the reasons it has really become so well known and something that people want is because it kind of combines the best of two really famous cuts, which is your round, which is generally chosen because it's going to get the most sparkle. The way a round cut is done, the faceting that it allows for, is going to give, generally speaking, the most sparkle that you're going to be able to get. And a princess cut, which is going to allow for the most surface space when you look down at the ring. So the two benefits of those two cuts come together, merge, and they create a cushion cut. You've got all of this extra surface like you would have in a princess cut, but what we've done is we've lobbed the sides, so we've kind of taken the corners off. And in doing so, we've created a unique intricacy of faceting that is going to bring the brilliance, is going to bring the light refraction up to being very similar to what you would see in a round or a brilliant cut stone. So that is what really gave cushion cut kind of its rise in popularity, kind of skyrocketed it to the top. It has become a very, very well-known stone, especially in bridal sets. This ring, I will tell you right now, my first thought was engagement ring or anniversary ring. I mean, how beautiful would this be? I feel like the days where everyone feels like they have to have a diamond when they get engaged have passed. And I'm telling you, I'm kind of glad. I mean, I love a diamond. I know diamonds are a girl's best friend, but I am so glad that we have opened up to the idea of color, whether that be because from a budget perspective, you know, a diamond is going to be more expensive, generally speaking, than some of these colored stones, but also because how fun. What a great way to show your personality, your style by bringing some color in. This ring would be a wonderful choice for an engagement ring or an anniversary ring. We've got over 27¼ carats of this sky blue topaz, and we have over a quarter, almost a ½ carat of diamond weight. Now the diamonds, I want to make sure you see, and we kind of get some emphasis here, are going down the shank, and it is a split shank design. Such a beautiful way to allow so much of the side of this stone to show. And look at how beautiful. I love the way they have chosen not to enclose the sides of this stone, and instead they've left it open. They've done a split shank to ensure security in the way the stone is set, but also it's just given you some surface to put a little more sparkle, to put a little bit of diamond, which is always a good thing. I love the way they've just sort of taken a very natural, organic line here. And so again, you've got over a carat, almost a ½ carat really, of diamond going down the side on the split shank, and then we have over 27¼ carats of the sky blue topaz. This ring can be yours for $2,277. That is the steal of a lifetime. Think about being able to get an engagement ring, an anniversary ring. This would be an incredible cocktail ring if you have something special that you're getting ready for $2,277. Now, I forgot to mention, but if you have been tuning into me for any length of time, you probably already know this. I have a showstopper coming for you. That is coming up in a few pieces, but first, this next piece brings us to the arguably more famous than me or the show itself, the Abigail pick of the day. The Abigail pick of the day today just happens to be over 22 carats of an oval kunzite, over a quarter carat of round diamonds, and it is set in 14 karat white gold. Now, if you have not been tuned in, if this is your first time tuning into my show, what is the Abigail pick of the day? I have a precious, darling, very discerning taste 7.5-year-old daughter. And one of her favorite things to do with me is to go through my pieces for each show and pick her favorite, thus named the Abigail pick of the day. My favorite part is that she then likes to tell me what it is that she loves about that piece and why she thinks all of you watching would want it. Now, in the case of today, she kept it pretty simple. She said, it is just a beautiful color of lavender, and then followed that with, and lavender is my favorite color. So I don't know if lavender is your favorite color, but it sure is Abigail's. And if it is your favorite color, this ring, for all the details I'm about to tell you, and the price that I am going to give you, if lavender is your favorite color, let me just tell you this, just go ahead and order now. Click, scan. If you are on YouTube, now's a good time to remind you, make sure you are subscribed and make sure you have your notifications turned on. Pieces like this are going to go so fast. I'm not even kidding you. Just go ahead and order it now if you love the color lavender and if you love kunzite, because it is not an easy stone to always get. But if you are on YouTube, the reason you want to subscribe and turn your notifications on is you want to catch these shows as close to the time that they air live as you possibly can. Now, if you are watching it in replay, I am so thrilled that you found us and I'm so glad that you're here. Of course, any one of these pieces that I'm showing you could still be available when you're watching, but having yourself subscribed and the notifications turned on definitely is going to help make sure that you don't ever miss a deal or miss a piece. Now, let's go through, again, over 22 carats of oval kunzite. This shade on this, Abigail is absolutely right. It is absolutely beautiful. It is the most perfect shade of lavender I've possibly ever seen, and that is something kunzite's known for. It tends to be thought of, and I know for me, I think of it as sort of a beautiful hybrid of a very, very soft pink sapphire, maybe even a morganite, and a very, very, very light amethyst. But the price point is often so much lower than either of those stones. So you get a really unique, kind of a signature color of the kunzite, but you're also getting it for a really affordable price point. And if you are shopping here with me on the Lux Jewelry Edit, you are getting an even better price point than you would be getting at a retailer or on vacation or wherever else you're used to shopping for jewelry. But so we see this beautiful shade. Also, the faceting, I have to point out, of this ring in particular is unbelievable. When you look into the ring, you can actually see all of the facets refracting and reflecting light, and it is so stunning to look at. The other thing that really drew me in about this piece, now it does have over a quarter carat weight of diamond, but the metal work on this piece is exquisite. So you basically, if you look, you're gonna see a double halo. This innermost halo is set well beneath the stone. So it kind of is an illusion almost of your eye. It kind of draws you in. You can't quite figure out what you're looking at right away. They've done a beautiful job with the prongs, making that a part of the design, just thoughtfully put that through. The innermost halo is all metal work. It is all metal work. So when you think about the craftsmanship and the attention to detail that has to be maintained in order to accomplish that, it's incredible. And then this outer halo, this is where you're going to see the diamonds, and it's got smaller diamonds going around, and then it has 4 larger diamonds kind of set north, east, south, and west, if you will, of the center stone. So you've got kind of these feature diamonds, and then you have the smaller diamonds. But all of the inner halo is just some beautiful metal work, kind of a mill-grain stamping metal work. So again, we have over a quarter carat of diamonds, but the kunzite itself is over 22 carats. It's just shy actually of 22.25 carats. When we look down the side, we are going to see a continuation of this beautiful mill grain and metal work. I love the way we've designed this basket so thoughtfully. It's going to allow for a tremendous amount of light to come in underneath and through the basket, which is again going to go right up and through the stone, giving it a tremendous amount of sparkle. You're going to have light that's hitting from the front. You're going to have light that can get in from the side because of how high it's raised over the basket. And because of this open metal work in the basket, you're actually going to have light coming up and through and just radiating out of the stone. if you were to walk into a jeweler, think about your favorite retail, mass produced no less. So pieces in these jewelers, these famous jewelers that we all kind of want the box from or we all want the label from, we have to remember these pieces are mass produced. So you are not the only person that is going to have that particular piece of jewelry. You also need to understand that they are adding 1 or 2 digits to the price point because of just the cost of purchasing something retail. So when you are shopping here with me, you are getting a one-of-a-kind piece. There is no other ring like this in the world. This is the only one. It has been crafted with intention and design, and it is the only one. But also the manufacturer or the designer has worked directly with us to pass those savings on to you as the shopper. So this ring can be yours for $2,530. On what planet can you get something that looks like this? You could be wearing this to the grocery store in the next week or two. For $2,530, if I saw someone walking around with a ring like this, I would assume they won the lottery. No, $2,530, this ring can be yours. So I showed you that beautiful sky blue topaz earlier in the show. Now I have another example. I was telling you how we have that wide range in blue topaz, from that sky blue topaz, which is often known as a powder blue or even a Parisian blue, to that deep midnight navy blue. Well, this is the London blue topaz, and this is often regarded as like a regal of the colors of blue topaz, and rightfully so. I can completely see where that is coming from. The London blue topaz is going to have little bits of almost turquoise. You're almost going to get a bit of a turquoise, a little bit of a jade inflection in there. Oftentimes you'll notice with the London blue topaz also a real depth when you look into the stone. So London blue topaz is often favored or loved, or you'll find people that are collectors of that stone because of the way when you look into it, when you look into the center, you notice the darkening in the depths of the stone. And so it almost is like looking into the depths of a Caribbean ocean. It is so beautiful. It radiates a warmth and a light and a color from the deepest innermost parts of the stone all the way out to the outermost, which tends to be where you see some of that jade, that little bit of a turquoise. So even looking at this one stone, you almost can get a bit of a range of color in this one stone. So that is your London blue topaz. This is a 44.5 carat, actually a little over than 44.5 carat oval cut London blue topaz, and we have almost a half carat of diamond weight in accent diamonds. It is all set in 14 karat white gold. Now, the setting of this ring, I don't know about anyone else, but the minute I saw it between the color London blue topaz, perhaps something with the word London kind of triggering in me, but does this not resemble the royal family wedding ring? I mean, arguably, I know you probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I like this color better. I think this color blue is a little more unique, a little different. Not a knock, surely, on the royal jewels, but definitely this color is beautiful, and it very much has a similar vibe. It is a very regal, very heirloom feeling setting. So we've got, once again, we're seeing a lot of in that antique look, kind of a set back halo. So we have a halo, but what we're doing is we're raising the stone. These stones are so big, they're so juicy that we are making sure that there is stone even showing up above the halo on the side. And what that is doing, one, it is simply adding to the depth of the ring itself. It's adding a lot of character, it's adding a lot of statement, it's adding a lot of size. So of course it's going to be higher off your finger. That is also allowing for light to not only hit from the front of the stone and refract out, but it's going to be able to come in from the side. And so that, when it hits the faceting in this ring, is going to sparkle beautifully. We're also seeing a lot of open baskets, and same thing, that is going to allow light to come in from underneath. So you are really getting the refraction of light from the front, from the sides, and even from underneath. And that is another reason you are seeing such a depth and variety of color even within this one stone. How deep the shade goes truly is magnificent. It's absolutely beautiful. Here we've got that halo going around, and this is where the bulk of that almost half carat weight of diamond. Another detail I love that they've done is they've added a little bit of space here between the stone and the halo Again, just a little bit of an artistic detail that really speaks to and I think makes the size of the stone really pronounced. And then you'll also see diamond work here going down the side. Now these are 3 larger diamonds. So while you have smaller diamonds going around in the halo, these are 3 fairly significantly sized diamonds. And you've got 3 on this side, and you've got 3 on this side. Now, once again, referencing what I had talked about in the beginning, the reason for the size of this basket, aside from the fact that obviously a stone of this size really calls for, it kind of demands a beautiful presentation. So a basket like this is going to really present the stone in the manner in which it deserves to be presented, really elevates the presentation, but also from a practical perspective, it helps balance or counterbalance or weight down, however you want to refer to it, the stone, so that as I'm moving, it is not going to be as inclined to roll because it's top heavy. Because a stone obviously on top like that is going to be a little bit heavier, but this is serving to kind of anchor and secure the stone so you don't have to worry about it moving on your finger that much. How beautiful is this? I kind of can't stop staring at it. I want to just keep showing it. But this ring, again, just to kind of remind you, it is over 44.5, almost 44 3/4 carats London Blue Topaz. Now, London Blue Topaz tends to have a cult following for good reason. And if you are one of those followers, you will know how unique the exact shade of this London Blue Topaz is. I don't even have to tell you, but for those that may not be as familiar, this is an extremely unique shade of London Blue Topaz. We have over a quarter, almost a half carat weight of diamonds. This ring today here on the Lux Jewelry Edit is $3,496. Steal. You can have this ring for $3,496. If you are watching on a computer, make sure you are familiarizing yourself. You're going to see a QR code. You're going to see probably a link. If you're watching me on YouTube, hopefully you have your notifications turned on and you are subscribed, so you are seeing this soon. There will be a link in the description beneath the show, but run, do not walk for the pricing on this ring and the few that I've just shown you. These are 70 and 80% off what you would pay retail. Not to mention the fact, just think about the idea that you can be walking around with a ring of this magnitude. This is a notice me ring for under $500, under $400, under $3,500, $3,496. I can't even believe that's possible. One of my favorite things that happens when I'm doing this show is when I get to discover a new gemstone or a new type of setting or just something that I'm not as familiar with. That is exactly what we have right here. This show brought me Praziolite, and it is known as a green amethyst. It is the most beautiful shade of green I have ever seen. I did not know this hue existed in gemstones. Had I known, I would have owned it a long time ago. So I am bringing it to you. Do not sleep on this moment to own one. If you are not familiar with it, you want it. Trust me, if you are familiar with it, I don't have to tell you, you are probably ordering already. But especially when you hear the price that I have for this piece, you are going to die. So let's go ahead and take a look up close. Now this is a checkerboard Praziolite. Such a beautiful, very, very difficult way to facet and get such beautiful color out of a stone. But what you're getting, you can see, is not just internal faceting, but you are getting this checkerboard faceting on the top. And so what that does is it just creates, rather than just kind of taking light and refracting it out in sparkle, it's bringing sort of a shadowing and an optical illusion almost when you look at the stone. That is just such a different way to really show the beauty of a particular stone or of the color. Now, a Praziolite, or as we know as green amethyst, actually a type of quartz. And to describe the color, I would say it is a very gentle, beautiful sage green. There's almost a gray blue green color to it. Depending on where you look at it and how the light is hitting it, you're going to see more green. You might see a little more gray. There is even a bit of blue gray that you are going to see. I love, love, love when gemstones have a variety of colors. That is just so majestic. Now, the other thing that has been done so beautifully is the setting of this ring. I don't say this very often. The setting of this ring is almost more beautiful than the center stone itself. I mean, you would be hard pressed to say what ultimately made you purchase this ring. The center stone, its color, its size, its faceting is beautiful, but look at this setting. This setting is ruby and diamond. So the kind of the contrast, if you will, of this deep, beautiful ruby, putting it next to something that is as light as a Praziolite, and then of course diamond between all of it, you are getting such a wide range of color here, and you are getting such a beautiful sparkle. We have two-tone gold. So you will see, I'm going to take this off so you can look at it up close. The ring itself is going to be gold, but anywhere that we've set diamonds, we actually have the 18 karat white gold. So we've got 18 karat yellow and 18 karat white gold. And one thing I like about this ring, this feels expensive. You know, sometimes you hold a piece of jewelry and just from holding it, it feels expensive. It feels, there's a weight to it that feels expensive. It is not as expensive as you think it is when you hear the price, but it has that expensive presence. It has that heaviness to it, not in a bad way, in a good way. It just feels like it has a significant presence. We also have this beautiful stonework, this beautiful diamond and ruby work going down the side. You've got, of course, the split shank here that we've done with the ruby, but then by adding this X right here in the middle, we've allowed for more surface to put more diamonds. That is just lending itself to more sparkle. Also just a higher level of intricacy and more to draw your eye in. This ring is a great example that the way a stone is presented is so important. You could almost argue that the setting of this ring is more beautiful than the stone itself, and it is a truly beautiful stone. It is an over 30 karat, almost 30.25 karat Praziolite. You have over 2 carats of ruby, and you have about 1 carat of diamond. So over 2 carats of ruby, about 1 carat of diamond. And again, you have the two-tone 18 karat gold. So you've got the 18 karat yellow and the 18 karat white gold. There was a price point that I sort of assumed it was. And then knowing that we are able to get exclusive one-of-a-kind deals on exclusive one-of-a-kind pieces of jewelry, kind of had a lower number in my mind that I thought it would be just because it's exclusive to me here on Gems. It is lower than even that. This beautiful piece of jewelry can be yours for not $5,000, not $4,000, $3,531. $3,531. It's essentially $3,500 for a piece of jewelry like this. Do you know how you would feel walking around with a piece of jewelry like this? Think about the next time you're at a dinner or a charity event, or you're out and about for a date night. How incredible you are going to feel. You are going to be stopped everywhere you go wearing a piece like this. And people are going to think you spent a fortune, and you know you got this piece for $3,531. It is that time. It is time for our showstopper. Today's piece lives up to its name, and I will tell you this, Abigail was actually a little mad at me that this was the showstopper because she initially picked it naturally. This was the one she initially picked, and I said, sorry, this is my showstopper. And so she of course picked her other, but she was a little bit bummed that she wanted this to be hers. Today's showstopper is one of a kind, absolutely incredible. Everything from the size of the stone, the color, the beauty, down to the design details. You are going to absolutely fall in love. And while yes, the showstopper is sometimes a little bit more expensive than some of the other pieces that I'm showing, the deal on the showstopper is often significantly bigger than a lot of the other pieces because it's our showstopper. So yes, it is a slightly higher price point sometimes, but the savings compared to what this piece should be selling for, truthfully should be selling for even on Gems. So there's what it should be at retail, really even what it should be here at Gems. And then there's the, okay, Elizabeth, you get one showstopper, make it count. That is the price we're gonna get on this. Today, your showstopper is a, get this, almost 41 karat, essentially 41, it's 40.93. So 41 karat Tanzanite. And it is surrounded by mother of pearl, unbelievable. I mean, had you told me about combining those two in such a way, I've never thought of it. I can honestly say that thought has never crossed my mind. And now that I see it, I realize it is something that we all should have. It is an absolute essential to life to have a Tanzanite that is set in a mother of pearl inlay. Absolutely essential. We have another 3.5 carats of round diamonds. So let's just tally this up for a second. We've got 41 carats of Tanzanite and we have 3.5 carats of diamond. So you are essentially walking around with almost 45 carats of beautiful stone dancing from your ears. Now, I know often when we do a showstopper, I tend to lean towards rings. Here's my thought on an earring and why I thought it would be so neat to do it for this. First of all, this piece it screamed showstopper, so there wasn't really a way around that. Also, one thing that I love about an earring, it is often overlooked. An earring is a piece of jewelry that brings the attention up to your face. And I have always said a beautiful earring, a sparkling radiant earring, is the best concealer, it is the best highlight, it is the best uplift you could ever give your face. Rather than powdering on the concealer and the highlighter, you are literally having tanzanites and diamonds reflect their beautiful light dancing across your face. How much more perfect could something be? So by bringing a piece like this in an earring, what it is doing for ultimately the beauty and the radiance of your face is better than any makeup you could ever wear. And I love that about a beautiful decadent earring. Now the shape of these tanzanites is so beautiful. I love a good pear-shaped stone. It is not as commonly seen because it's actually hard to get a large pear shape. You really need to be able to do it in a fairly significant size, and we aren't always able to do that. It can be a little harder to find a stone that is of high enough quality to be able to get that shape. Now again, setting it in the mother of pearl is just utter brilliance because what it is doing for the color of this tanzanite, if you're familiar with tanzanite, if you're a lover of it, like so many of you I know are, you are aware of the fact that one of the things that makes it so special, it is almost always reflecting 3 different shades. So you're always getting that bit of purple, you're always getting that bit of blue, and then you're always kind of getting that in-between shade. And depending on the light or depending on how you're looking at it, you're gonna see any one of those 3 shades. Sometimes you will even see a bit of pink reflecting back in a tanzanite in the right light, in the right setting. So it's really beautiful in that regard. By setting it in this mother of pearl, and then of course we have the white gold and the diamond, we're really cooling the overall look of how it's presenting. And so what that is doing for the depth of the blue here, that it's kind of bringing and lending itself to that iciness, that cooler blue tone, is so beautiful. Now again, just to remind you, we have 41 carats of tanzanite here. We have 3.5 carats of diamond. I know in your head you have sort of established that we are, if not low 6 figures, we are very, 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 very high 5 figures. And that is probably accurate. That is probably where we should be. But today, because it is my showstopper, because one of you absolutely needs to own this beautiful, beautiful piece of jewelry, you can have it today for $16,356. That is the deal of the century. $16,356 for 41 carats of tanzanite, 3.5 carats of diamond. If you just took those stones alone and you tried to purchase that in that carat weight, you would be significantly over that price point. You would be double that price point. You add the beautiful setting, you add the detailing, the craftsmanship, there is no way. We are at 80% off of what you should pay and what you would pay retail for these earrings. So please be the lucky person that scores this once in a lifetime deal. Get this showstopper. And then, like I always tell you, if you purchase and are wearing any pieces from my show, post on Instagram and please tag me. It's at elizabeth.maneri. Nothing makes my heart sing like watching y'all sparkle and enjoy the pieces that I bring to you. So if you are the lucky one that secures today's showstopper for $16,356, make sure you tag me. We have 2 more pieces left and I cannot wait to get to them. The color of this next stone has become one of my favorites. If you are familiar with Rubellite Tourmaline, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It has a signature hot pink hue that I don't know that we can find anywhere else or in any other stone other than the Rubellite Tourmaline. Now, the name Rubellite, just kind of a fun fact for you, actually came from the fact that it is ruby-like. And it is often worn as sort of a faux or an imitation of a ruby because they tend to be a little bit less expensive than a ruby, depending on where you're purchasing it, but generally speaking, it is going to be a less expensive stone to come up with than a ruby. But so that's where the name came from. Rubellite is ruby light, but it really kind of shot into notoriety because of this really unique, beautiful hue, this hot pink, that when you look deeper into it, again, you're going to see these really, really dark, almost crimson shades as you look deeper into it. So it's really a beautiful color, beautiful stone. This Rubellite Tourmaline is an oval. It is over 13 carats, about 13 3/4 carats, and it is surrounded by over 1 3/4 carats of diamond weight. So you've got over 1 3/4 of diamonds that are going around. This is such a traditional, sometimes you'll hear it sort of a vintage setting, but I love this setting where we have the 3 prongs that are set more trillion style with round diamonds. That is one of my absolute favorites. In fact, I have a ring passed down to me from my grandmother that is done very similarly, and it is a garnet on the inside. But this Rubellite Tourmaline set in 1 3/4, over 1 3/4 diamonds. The other thing that is so beautiful about this ring, and just a really wonderfully thought out design detail, is this enhancer is adjustable. So the enhancer, which is this part right up here, opens up. So if you wanted to put this pendant on a necklace that perhaps the ends or the chain was too large to go in what would normally be where it was anchored, this is going to open up. So you're going to be able to put a larger chain, a more significant chain, because this is a little bit of a heavy pendant. So you are going to want to make sure that this is set on a sturdy chain. You are not going to want to put this on something too delicate. There is definitely some weight here. And then on the enhancer, we have also continued with this diamond work. The surface of these diamonds is definitely larger, so this is going to be a smaller, more of a pave style diamond setting, but we continue the diamond work on the enhancer, and then again we've got the over 1 3/4 carat weight of diamonds going around. The Rubellite Tourmaline itself is 13 3/4 carats, and this pendant can be yours today for $7,600. How beautiful would this be? There is not a neckline that you would wear this with that it would not be an absolute showstopper. Somehow that brings us to our final piece of today's show. It was worth the wait. It is a really good one. It's really unique. I'm very excited to show you, but I do want to take a moment because I get asked this question a lot on social media, either Instagram DMs or in the comments, the pieces of jewelry that I wear when I'm hosting. Yes, they are all pieces that you can shop here either on Gems Plus or on Gems. So make sure you are tuning in. If there's ever a piece you see me wearing that you're curious about, DM me and I am happy to put you in contact with making sure you're able to get that. But on that note, I want to make sure that this ring gets its moment in the spotlight because it sure deserves it. This is a 20 carat oval cabochon style ruby, and then it is a 1/4 carat weight of diamonds, all set in 18 karat yellow gold. Now I want to take a moment because cabochon is something I didn't realize not everyone is familiar with what that terminology means. Because ruby is a well-known stone, but not everyone knows what that term means. It is a way of basically finishing the stone. And it is where there is a flat bottom, there is a domed top, and instead of cutting it with faceting, they just bring it to a high polish. So instead of refracting light and sparkling, you'll often hear it referred to as glowing. It will glow with the warmth of light as it's hit. Rings and stones that are finished cabochon style look so beautiful. Think of the dim light of a candlelit dinner or an evening event. The glow and the warmth that they give off is absolutely incredible. And again, it's really different from the way a normal ring such as this would kind of sparkle and reflect light. This is different. This is going to glow with the warmth. It always has that very high polish, high shine, if you will, finish. Again, it kind of becomes more of an all-one color. It is a really unique, really beautiful way to finish a stone, especially a stone like a ruby, where the color is already so rich. It is already such a deep, beautiful color. And by finishing it this style, it almost brings it into the territory of a garnet in color. It is so beautiful. Just kind of an interesting fact, Cabochon is actually the original, if you will, way of finishing stones. It is what was done before faceting was even invented. It's a little bit of a jewelry history if you own this. I love the way the 18 karat gold in this particular ring, the metal work is so beautiful. You immediately, I'm sure, are brought back to the 20s and you're thinking of a flapper dress and feathers in your hair and a boa. This is a beautiful Art Deco style ring. The diamonds that we have going across the top and then going across the bottom, we have again between 1/4 and 1/2 carat of diamond weight, and we have those on the bottom and the top. They are fairly significantly sized diamonds. I always like to point that out because sometimes it can be a little confusing when we talk about carat weight if it's not all in one stone. And the same carat weight can look different depending on how many individual stones they are. So for instance, a carat weight, if you're talking pave or micro pave versus an individually prong set stone, they can all look different. So in the case of this, you've got fairly significantly sized accent stones. For accent stones, I would say they are absolutely on the larger size, which is why you're able to get the over a carat, just kind of between 1/4 and 1/2 carat weight in diamond. Again, you've got the 20 karat ruby. It is a cabochon finish. It is oval. This beautiful metal work just kind of brings the eye in. I love the way the lines are just sort of bringing your eye into the center of this absolutely beautiful ring. I'm gonna try it on. I will tell you, it is a size 4.5. So I am not gonna put it all the way on because then I will have to buy it, which there are worse problems I can think of, but yeah, I'm gonna just put it on the top, but it is a size 4.5. It is a very substantial ring. So I'm gonna kind of show you the undercarriage here. But it has a very heavy, look at how beautiful. See that cabochon finish that I was telling you about, that flat, high polish finish? It is, this ring has some weight to it. This has some substance. You feel this ring on your finger, and I think that is such a decadent feeling. I love when you put on a ring, you can kind of tell that it's there, kind of commands some presence, it commands some attention. It can be yours for not 15, not 12, not even $10,000, which is absolutely where I would have been thrilled had they told me I could bring it to you for $10,000. I am bringing it to you today, Lux Jewelry Edit exclusive pricing, $8,360. I cannot believe that this ring is under $10,000. That makes me so excited. Make sure you are clicking, scanning, calling, whatever your preferred way to shop is. The deals and discounts on these rings, not only are they all one-of-a-kind pieces, these are not mass-produced pieces of jewelry. These are one-of-a-kind, luxurious pieces of art that you get to wear on your finger, on your ears. Make sure that you are ordering them quickly because they are not going to last. Again, if you are one of my YouTube viewers, I'm so thrilled you're here, and I always want you to try. I don't want you to not try and get a piece just because you know you're watching a rebroadcast. But make sure you have those notifications turned on. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And as always, remember, you will never regret a beautiful piece of jewelry in your jewelry box. You will always regret the piece that got away. I'll see you next time.